3 a.m. It's like a vortex opening everywhere at a certain time of night.
There's some really strange happenings here.
I call them demons.
Are you the devil? If you believe in dark energies, this could be dangerous.
My name is Christopher Garetano, and I've spent my whole life exploring the darkest mysteries on Earth. Following that passion, I made a film that helped inspire the hit series Stranger Things. Now I'm digging even deeper into our strange world.
So we are now entering the witching hour. It's just past 3 a.m. People who sacrifice things in ritual, they're tapping into these dark energies. What you're asking to come in is not just a spirit. You're asking some very dark energy to come into your life. So I'm putting these bones here for the spirit that's here. And I want to know, is there anything here, something listening to us, watching us? What happened? What happened?
Elena.
See, this is different than going into a haunted place. Now we're messing with some stuff. People throughout history have had bizarre encounters at a time that folklore calls the witching hour. Strange creatures have appeared to people at the hour of 3 a.m. It's a time at night when the veil between the living and the unknown is thin.
It's a time when spirits are supposed to be at their most active. It's also a time when most people are in their deepest sleep.
I myself have had a lot of problems around that time. Everything from night terrors to even seeing an apparition once. And I've been on a quest to find out why this happens.
I've created an online forum to find other people who've had similar experiences to my own, like sightings of creatures in the dead of night.
I see this dark entity kind of floating in between, halfway between my ceiling and my floor.
Encounters with black-eyed children.
Sure enough, there's 2 kids down there. 1800 style clothes, black eyes. These kids, it seems like there's something very wrong with them.
And beings that are beyond our realm.
It is what it is. I saw what I saw, and I experienced that.
How's that?
That's good. How's it going? Nice to see you.
Good to finally meet you.
So, I know a little bit about your story, but not everything, of course. And so tell me about when these unusual occurrences began.
I was building a house here in the hill country of Texas, and one day I noticed this abandoned lake house. I got interested in it. I wanted to find something my son and I could do. So I invited him to go ghost hunting with me, and he came along, and I was not prepared at all for what transpired. It scared the out of me. We went through the place and we lasted about 17 minutes, and that's all we could take. And what happened was lots of bangs and thumps, and sounded like stuff was crashing on the floor, but there was no furniture, there was nothing in the house. It was this unbelievable amount of noise.
was that? It came from upstairs. Oh, God.
I didn't play the tapes or look at them for almost 6 months. And I was shocked to find all of the audio, all of the EVPs, and even some apparitions that were caught on infrared.
EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena,
Anything but the best.
are recorded sounds believed to be the voices of spirit entities.
Really dark, evil stuff. And I wanted to know why, what was there, what was going on. And it's why I went back by myself every other Monday morning at 3 a.m. for 3 years and filmed everything that I saw or felt or heard.
The reason why we're talking about this today is that I'm trying to find out if the legend of the witching hour is a real thing. If there is a thin veil between the living and the unknown around the peak hour of 3 a.m., between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Do you believe that there's a truth in that?
Absolutely, yes. I would go and set up cameras, night vision, audio, digital recorders, and I'd leave them all night long. And I did this several times. And without fail, between 3 and 4 o'clock, it got more active.
Now, when was it that you experienced some otherworldly presence that's invading your space?
There was a mirror there that had all kinds of amazing haunted images coming out of it. And when I filmed it, it had a jagged shadow across it that I could not identify where it came from. When I got home, I put it in the garage, and then the next morning I woke up, and the mirror had fallen over, and it had broken exactly in the same jagged shape as the shadow.
At what point did it become detrimental?
Probably the most serious thing that happened was I got really, really sick very suddenly and was in intensive care for 4 days. And the doctor said something was trying to kill me. I had E. coli infection throughout my body. I had blood sepsis. I had pneumonia. All of this manifested over a couple of days. And I couldn't imagine. The doctor had no idea how this happened. 3 days before I went to the hospital, I started recording what was going on in the bedroom. And on the tape, the spirits were talking about putting me in the hospital and hurting me. So they either knew it was going to happen or they caused it. And that's when I started getting really worried.
What do you believe they were?
There were some demonic entities, and that's just my personal belief. And I don't think any of these things were ever in human form.
Do you think the mirror is some sort of portal for these entities?
The spirits, the entities call them bridges. They don't call them portals, they call them bridges. They're not easy to make. My sense is that they don't want their privacy invaded, and they're really pissed off that I'm there to look for them. It's quite a story, and there's a lot involved in it. I'd really love for you to come to Austin and just let me show you some of these locations. And one in particular that I've got, I think you're going to find amazing.
I'm eager to join Robert on one of his 3 a.m. investigations. And I'm especially interested in checking out that mirror he was talking about.
Do you ever suspect that you might be playing with something, Robert, that maybe you shouldn't?
I'm in the hill country outside of Austin, Texas, with paranormal investigator Robert Ainsley. I'm here to look into a mirror that opens a portal to another world at the witching hour.
So walking through here, immediately crossing this threshold right here, I felt something. Maybe not exactly dizzy, but some kind of weird feeling as soon as I stood here. Do you ever suspect that you might be playing with something, Robert, that maybe you shouldn't? Listening to the EVPs, I can understand why you're afraid, because I wouldn't want those things around me while I'm vulnerable and sleeping.
It's the first time I actually became truly afraid when I heard those EVPs while I'm asleep and helpless. So there's the mirror, and there's two ways we need to shoot this. We need to shoot it in infrared light, and we need to shoot it in visible light. Look at start with the infrared. It's not got. Checked it. Here we go. All right, so the way I do it is I just start at the top and come down to the bottom. And a lot of times I'll see something right in the mirror when I do it, and then sometimes I'll see it when I get home.
Can I give it a shot? You mind if I try?
Yeah, give it a try.
Thanks, Rob.
See if you can see anything.
Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm holding this up to the mirror, and I'm looking to see if I see any kind of anomaly or anything that's out of the
anything that looks
ordinary.
like a face, any writing.
I'm gonna observe here.
What always happens is fog forms on the mirror, and then soon after, images start appearing.
I'm not seeing anything in the mirror with the cameras, so it's time to bring out something more technical. I'm going to use a device called a REM pod.
So I'm gonna put this right at the base of the mirror, right here. Pretty much. This red light is the REM pod baseline.
Okay.
To me, to my understanding, this works very much like a Ouija board in a way. You ask questions out into the ether and see if something comes back. This generates a field around it.
Okay.
Something breaks the field, even something not human or something ethereal or something otherworldly, it's still going to have some kind of reaction. So
I think being right next to the mirror, it just might work.
let's get a little extra light in here. So why don't we ask some questions? What do you think?
Okay.
All right, I'll ask one, you ask one.
Okay.
I'm talking to, if it will listen, the spirit or one of the spirits that are with Robert. Can you make this REM pod, this device I have with the red light, can you approach the red light and let me know you're here?
You guys are usually in the car with me. Did anybody ride with me here?
Most effective, would you suggest someone come in here alone, shut the lights off, and then stare into the mirror? Is that what you're saying is most effective?
It's most effective
Okay.
when the lights are off and you're just staring in the mirror.
Well, is there a way we can do something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Still record it? And...
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, anybody that doesn't need to be here, maybe they should just go downstairs, and I'm gonna give this a shot. So go down, shut the lights off, and let's see what we find. So.
Do you want me to stick around or head downstairs?
No, I'm gonna do this by myself. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you. I can tell you what I'm seeing right now. I mean, I'm staring at my own face, and it looks different, you know. Like I didn't recognize myself.
The spirits, the entities call them bridges. They don't call them portals, they call them bridges. They don't want their privacy invaded.
Earlier, Robert was telling me that the mirror was fogging over, and that's exactly what was happening. I just don't know if that's a natural phenomena of the eye or it's something supernatural. I did have an odd experience in there. If you believe in dark energies, this could be dangerous, especially hanging around Robert. He's got some weird things around him based off of his evidence. I certainly wouldn't want these things around me.
After my experience with Robert's mirror, I still wonder, do spirits really come out to play during the witching hour? Or is there something about the human mind at 3 a.m. that simply makes it more suggestible? I've come to a sleep clinic to investigate my history with night terrors and see what happens to me during the witching hour.
Doctor, good to meet you.
Hi, Chris.
Appreciate
Good to meet you.
I'm on a mission to see why so many people are having experiences in their sleep, particularly at 3 a.m. They're seeing things, they're hearing things, and even in some cases, they claim to be attacked by something from another world.
Right.
You know, I've had myself some odd experiences while sleeping, some very intense dreams. I've had, I guess, what they call night terrors. I've woken up covered in sweat, felt completely physically paralyzed. I felt some kind of greater force almost pulling me down. I want to fight it, I want to wake up.
But you can.
Yeah.
When did you first have what you call a night terror?
That was probably happening when I was a kid. Right now, I just dream. You know, I have these vivid dreams every night. That's every night, every time I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about that time of night?
There's some dreams that occur in every stage of sleep, but the more intense dreams, the more vivid dreams are nearly always around 3 a.m.
What do you think it is when people are actually seeing things? They claim, hey, these things are in my bedroom with me.
Well, those could be called what we call hypnagogic hallucinations. Extremely vivid dream that it occurs, sort of a transition between the stages of sleep where you're half awake, half asleep, but it's so real that you can just reach out and touch these people.
I'm hoping that this scientific study might show why this is happening. Okay, folks, so the witching hour is approaching, so this is gonna be really interesting. I wanna see if I have any experiences. I've had them in the past, so let's do it. Not exactly easy.
I'm at a sleep center to find out if there's a scientific explanation for why I've had night terrors since childhood.
When did you first have a night terror?
That was probably happening when I was a kid. I just dream. I want to fight it.
I was definitely dreaming. So I'm really interested in seeing what my readings were, what my brain waves were like. So I don't know if anybody is around, but yeah, let's get this stuff off of me. I'm eager to find out if the tests will identify the cause of my night terrors. But the results of the sleep study won't be available for a few days. In the meantime, I'm headed to North Carolina to meet with a couple who've had similar experiences to my own in the dead of night. But theirs are much more intense, involving something known as a succubus.
I've heard so many stories throughout the years, and I've also had my own experiences. Can you tell me what your encounter was like and when it started?
You feel like you're being suffocated or held down in your sleep, and you're conscious, but you feel like you can't move, you feel like you're kind of paralyzed.
And you knew at that time this was something more than just some kind of physical anomaly, like there was something else there, some other force?
Absolutely.
And Pamela, can you tell me about your experience?
Well, I literally was attacked by a female spirit, which is succubus.
Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all warn of the succubus, a demon that comes at night in the form of a beautiful woman. It then morphs into a deformed monster, intent on sucking the life force from its victims.
What time did your encounters happen, typically?
Mine usually occurs between the hours of 3 and 4. It was such a tormenting interruption to my sleep. Basically, a spirit appeared about 2 inches from my face, and it climbed into that space with me and pressed its body up against mine. But I was able to see her face up close, and she had glowing blue eyes, blonde hair that was coming out in clumps. It was just kind of stringy, and these sawtooth, jagged teeth. And she was wrestling me. And when it seemed like I was gonna get the best of her, she bit me on my ear. I wrestled with her so hard that I ended up on the floor, like physically on the floor. And I yelled at her. I said, "You get out of here in the name of Jesus." And it left.
How does a person deal with something like this if they're aware of it like you are?
Well, yeah, I'll answer that. Recently, I've met with a deliverance minister named Joy Wilburn, and Joy is literally like a sword in the spirit realm.
I'm curious to meet Joy for myself and learn more about her take on the witching hour.
Joy, tell me about what you do.
People come to me when they are tormented by, some people call them spirits, some people call them energies. I call them demons.
So do you believe that when someone's suffering from night terrors or they're having these dreams that they're being affected by some other force?
They see something.
Okay.
They're seeing something, yeah. It's real.
You know, I've read about the time period at night. It's called the witching hour. And I want to know why so many people are having these experiences usually between the hours of 3 a.m., 4 a.m., during that witching hour period. Do your clients tend to have their experiences around that time?
Yeah, they have night terrors. They're getting raped in their dreams, raped in their sleep. In fact, they actually feel it happening. They wake up with scratches and things like that.
Some of what she's describing reminds me of the terrifying experiences I had as a kid.
I grew up having visitations, and I had problems during the witching hour. Just the most extreme nightmares you could think of. You know, I think there were things around me as a kid, spirits, whatever you want to call them, entities. I actually heard something audible. I was wide awake. So I know that I've been awakened at that time, and now in my life, I sleep very little. How would you how would you help me?
I like to go back in time. Go back to a memory when you were experiencing the night terror.
Okay.
How old were you?
Between 12 and 15.
Okay.
I retreated to things that were, I guess at the time, attractive. They were rebellious. Things like witchcraft, stuff like that. All that stuff. I got so deep into that.
So you played with a Ouija board?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What I found with people who play with Ouija boards, like, it's a portal. The portal was open, something entered, and I want to find out what it is. All right, in the mighty name of Jesus, I bind that foul spirit that came in through the Ouija board. You can't have Christopher anymore. Kiss the feet of my Master Jesus Christ.
Deliverance Minister Joy Wilburn suspects that my night terrors are the work of a demon that stalks me during the witching hour.
It's only by the authority of Jesus Christ that I can cast out any demons. Kiss the feet of my Master Jesus Christ. Bow to my Master Jesus Christ. You can't have Christopher anymore. You can't have him. And I have authority over you, you foul spirit, you unclean spirit. I bind you in the mighty name of Jesus. What is your name? Tell me the first thing that crosses your mind.
This is powerful.
What did you hear? What did you hear?
I don't know what I'm hearing. When you did this, I felt something. And something pretty profound and powerful.
How do you feel?
That was weird.
You looked a little nervous.
Yeah, well, the only thing I could tell you is you'd have to sit in my place.
Was there a name that you were actually thinking of?
But of course there was a name, and it was the only one that, you would think of in this situation was the devil himself.
Some people refer to 3 to 4 a.m. not as the witching hour, but as the devil's hour. The results from my sleep study will be ready soon, but I can't get Joy's words of warning out of my head. Are demonic forces the cause of my night terrors? I've heard about a place not too far away where pure evil is said to visit the human realm every night.
We're here driving deep into the North Carolina woods to meet a woman named Tamara Dowd Owens. She owns an infamous plot of land called the Devil's Tramping Ground. This is a place where a variety of paranormal occurrences have happened over the years, everything from warring native tribes to a massacre happening there. It's an odd plot of land, and they say that the devil himself dwells there. This is it. So Tamara, can you tell me what this place is and
Sure.
maybe a little bit about the history?
Sure. So it's called the Devil's Tramping Ground. And it's been in my family for generations. My dad and my grandfather and others in the area have said that the devil is here and it's a crossing. They think that this is a vortex. The devil comes up one path, tramps around, conjuring up, evil spirits. They say that that's potentially why nothing grows in the circle.
Do you really feel like there's some kind of vortex here that's allowing things to come through?
There's some really strange happenings here, yes. We've had Satan worshipers come. They've sacrificed animals.
Really?
We've come the next day and there's been, a carcass in the center laying there.
What kind of animal?
Goats, mainly goats. They've hung goats in the trees.
What I'm doing is I'm exploring the idea of the witching hour, that time of night that's almost like a thinning of the veil, almost like a vortex opening everywhere around the world at a certain time of night or in the morning. I really do want to experience the witching hour at its apex, and I think this is the place to do it.
I have lived here all my life, and I have to say I've never stayed.
Not once?
Not once.
Is it a bad feeling?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think I'm in danger if I stay the night?
I think you might see something. Good luck.
We've returned to the Devil's Tramping Ground. Our plan is to spend the night in the circle where legend holds that the devil walks. For years, people have come to this very spot and encountered evil. I definitely get a bad feeling here.
It's almost 3 a.m., and that traditionally is the witching hour. And so I think maybe we should use some of these devices and see if we pick up on anything. All right, REM pod's baselined. EMF reader. We'll leave that right now. And as the FLIR device goes, I guess we can start looking around the perimeter of our camp here.
I'm using the FLIR device to measure any unusual heat signatures in the infrared spectrum.
Head down that path.
Which one, here?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a little hiking trail.
The legend has it that the devil walks into the circle, he contemplates on the things he wants to make happen, then splits and comes down one of these paths. Look.
Bones.
Yep. What do you think it is, a deer? All right, I have an idea.
Do a stick.
All right. Since this is the Devil's Tramping Ground, why don't we make an offering with these bones? Let's play the game, right? Why don't we bring the bones over to the middle of the circle and as an offering, right? We're participating in some of the black magic. See if we can trick them into coming out. What do you say? I mean, it sounds like a crazy idea, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious if we can increase the energy by doing something like this. So we are now entering the witching hour. It's just past 3 a.m. People who sacrifice things in ritual, they're tapping into these dark energies. What you're asking to come in is not just the spirit. You're asking some very dark energy to come into your life. So I'm putting these bones here for the spirit that's here. And I want to know, is there anything here, something listening to us, watching us? Okay. So I guess my next question is, you know, people call this the devil's tramping grounds. Who are you? Are you the devil? What happened? What happened? See, this is different than going into a haunted place. Now we're messing with some stuff. What happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was just like, it got cold, like really, really cold.
Really?
And then it was like a,
No,
right
really?
here.
Really?
It's now the witching hour in the Devil's Tramping Ground, a barren circle of land where evil energy is said to visit every night.
So if that was you that did that,
Don't piss it off.
Alina, how do you feel right now?
Shaky.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm standing. Hi.
All right. We are dabbling in some weird stuff tonight.
It's almost as if something could have been coming from that path to us, and Alina happened to be there.
Could be. All right, so here's what's happening here. One of our crew members had an odd experience where she felt like she was touched, and then this thing keeps going off. I think we're gonna have some.
So, if you want us to leave and you guys want to try to take your overnight, that's fine.
I mean, that's what I came here for. I guess I'll give it a shot. You know, this is what I came here for.
Okay.
Come back just before dawn, and we'll stay here and see what happens.
You sure you want to sleep here tonight?
Yeah, this is what I came here for. So I'm sure I want to stay here.
All right, we're gonna get out of here.
All right, man.
All right, good luck.
Thanks. How do you feel?
Terrified.
If something happens, like what happened to Alina, we'll get out of here quickly.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Just try and get some rest.
Bow to my master Jesus Christ. You can't have Christopher anymore.
I just had a really crazy dream. I have vivid dreams every night, and this was just seemed to be too much. Let's get out of here.
I'd hoped to spend the whole night at the Devil's Tramping Ground, but I couldn't do it. Horrible thoughts were filling my mind. And I'd like to know if outside entities were to blame, or if I've just got some kind of sleep disorder. I'm reaching back to Dr. Hudson, who analyzed my sleeping patterns a few days ago.
Doctor, good to see you again. I am really curious about the results of my sleep study.
You had
issues with what we call parasomnias, which are things that should not be happening at night. Your sleep was rather brief, but you fell asleep in 2 minutes, which suggests that you're fairly sleepy. But something woke you up here.
When I was at another location, the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina, and I fell asleep momentarily there, and I had a dream that I feel like I couldn't have conjured up. I wanted to get the hell out of there.
Night terror occurs out of REM sleep. Usually it starts in childhood. It can persist into adulthood. It can seem so real that you can actually touch it.
How do you feel about all this phenomena? Do you believe there's something more than us? That there's something outside of this realm of existence?
I can't say no. I just don't understand it because I've never experienced it. There must be something to it, but I don't know what.
My quest to understand this phenomena that haunts our world after sundown has been a personal journey. This investigation has brought me face to face with entities from another dimension. Demons, succubi, and perhaps even the devil himself. These visions may be a symptom of the way our bodies change as the night progresses. But after speaking to scientists, paranormal researchers, and witnesses to the phenomena, unfortunately, I can't explain why I'm vulnerable to the demons of the witching hour. The only thing I know for sure is that this knowledge won't help me sleep more soundly tonight when the sun sets on our strange world.